Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something called the paradox of the spectator. It's basically this wild tension between modern entertainment and, well, actually participating in life. We all absolutely love to consume, to watch, to cheer from the sidelines. But think about it. At what point does watching someone else's achievement trick our own brains into thinking, hey, I did that too? So I've got to pose this question right to you. Are you actually playing the game, or are you just watching? Keep that exact question in the back of your mind as we unpack a brilliant little case study today. It perfectly captures a conversation that's probably happening in living rooms all over the world right this second. Let's meet Vivian. He's a 9-year-old boy, and right now, he is absolutely ecstatic. He's jumping up and down celebrating because his favorite soccer player just scored this mind-blowing goal on TV. He is deeply, deeply invested. And he's going to be our focal point today because, let's be totally honest here, we've all been Vivian at some point, right? Okay, so let's dive into this. His mother is observing this wild celebration, and she suggests, maybe he should actually go outside and play the game himself. But Vivian? Oh, he is rigid. He literally tells her, I have to watch the match, do not disturb. He is completely locked in. It really highlights this intense, almost protective bubble he's built around his passive engagement. He genuinely feels this duty to the screen. But his mom, she doesn't let it slide. She offers some incredibly incisive pushback. She asks him, I have never seen you play. Why this interest only in watching it? It's such a great question, right? Because she's pointing right at that glaring gap, the massive emotional enthusiasm he has for the sport versus his absolute complete lack of actual physical involvement. Which brings us to the core conflict here. It's the stark difference between sport and entertainment. She tells him point blank that if he won't actually play, the sport only holds entertainment value for him. We've really got to define these two buckets clearly. A sport involves action, okay? It is played by a sportsman. Entertainment, on the other hand, involves passivity. It's simply consumed by a spectator. They are absolutely not the same thing. Well, of course, Vivian has his defenses lined up and ready to go. He claims he dislikes running, he hates the mud, and he definitely wants to avoid the sweat. Basically, he expertly justifies his desire to stay nice and comfortable on the couch, rather than, putting in the physical friction actually required to be an athlete. And this brings us to a fascinating psychological phenomenon that we can call the knowledge trap. See, Vivian argues back by pointing out that he knows the most about soccer matches in his entire grade. He can predict which team will win, he knows all the best players, he knows exactly what to watch out for. But here is the trap. We so easily, almost unconsciously, confuse knowing facts with actual achievement. Just consider the contrast for a second. On one side, we have knowing, so that's predicting winners, memorizing players, holding vast amounts of trivia in your head. On the flip side, we have doing, running, dealing with the mud, and actually exerting physical effort. Vivian has this massive stockpile of the former and literally zero of the latter. His deep, deep trivia knowledge just doesn't equate to physical reality. So his mom tries a really clever pivot. If he absolutely refuses to use his body, she challenges him to use his mind actively instead. If he knows so much, why not code a software program that can simulate a game? Her core philosophy here is brilliantly simple. Do something active with your knowledge. Turn that mental energy into active creation rather than just passive consumption. But predictably, Vivian has a whole new set of excuses for this too. He claims building software like that requires way too much effort. And hey, no one's going to buy it anyway because tons of them already exist. Are you noticing the pattern here? The friction of real effort, whether that's physical sweat out on the field or mental sweat coding software, it stops him dead in his tracks. He just wants the reward of the game without the work. Then his mother directly confronts his identity. She says, and I quote, "Sport and entertainment are two different things. What does it mean to you, one who watches it, knows the rules, and does not play?" Be clear on that. And honestly, I want you to reflect on that too. Where in your own life are you just watching from the sidelines, knowing all the rules, but flat out refusing to play? Now, in response to this really profound question, Vivian reaches what we can only call peak cognitive dissonance. He looks right at his mom and says, with complete sincerity, I'm considered a very sporty guy. He has essentially claimed an identity he completely hasn't earned based entirely on his media consumption. He is completely blind to the reality that he is just sitting on a couch. His mother then delivers the ultimate reality check. She just looks at him and says,
That's the best joke I have ever heard. Boom. She completely shatters his illusion, reminding him firmly that sports are played by sportsmen. And everyone else? We just get entertained. There is absolutely nothing sporty about sitting and watching.
Now, this wasn't just a lecture, it was a full-on intervention. And the crazy thing is, her words actually spark something. Vivian sits there, really chewing on what she said. The truth finally sinks in, and he decides to change the game. Literally. He takes that harsh realization and instantly converts it into action. First step, he shuts off the TV. The passive consumption ends right then and there. Second, he goes downstairs to play with his friends. And third, and this is for sure the best part, they create a completely new hybrid game together. This just brilliantly illustrates the power of active engagement. Vivian didn't just play, he used creative adaptation. See, because they had limited space in their housing society, he and his friends invented this cool combination of baseball and cricket. So he went from avoiding all effort to actively inventing a physical sport that fit perfectly into his real-world environment. He finally became the sportsman. It's a simple little story, right? But the takeaway is incredibly powerful. We live in a world literally designed to make us comfortable spectators. But knowing the rules is definitely not the same as being in the arena yourself. So the next time you fire up a screen to watch somebody else achieve greatness, just ask yourself, are you being sporty or are you just entertained? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning and most importantly, get out there and actually play the game.